Welcome to the SimXpert Demonstrator. SimXpert is a demonstrator created by TU Dublin. The problem faced by companies is that processes in the company are not perfect. By process we mean any set of steps that links a workflow. It may be customers as they move through a customer service process, it could be the routing of patients within a hospital, or it could be the management of an insurance claim as it goes through the steps to approval. The typical problems encountered are the complex routing of processes throughout the company, the set of unknown steps and unnecessary steps, the fact that there are limited resources, that there are exception paths that may be slowing down the process that are not known. The underlying problem in this is not just process discovery, but also how to change the process without spending too much on the testing of the process. How do we know that the change will work? An underlying problem is inaccurate process views. On the one hand, we think in the business that we know how a process looks, but in reality the process may work differently. There may be more complex routing than we realise, and there may be more exception paths. We also need to know where the bottlenecks are. Our views of processes need to be objective. If we have subjective process views that are not accurate, it becomes very difficult to identify improvements. SimXpert combines process discovery with the predictive capabilities of simulation. The tool works as follows. Looking at the left-hand side, our process discovery is using real data that underlies the process, what we call a data-driven process discovery. Once we've established the process, we then use predictive simulation to allow the user to be able to visualize what the effect of changes is on their real process. These are the main components of the SimXpert tool. The types of questions that we're answering using SimXpert are: what's the actual process happening? What does it look like? Where are the bottlenecks? What happens if we add a new step? What is the effect? What happens if we add more resources? Does it speed things up? Why is it that some cases take such a long time? And why are there so many exception paths through the system? These are the types of questions we can answer. Looking at the technology solution, SimXpert is developed as a data-driven web application. Looking at the left-hand side, it's triggered by the upload of system event logs by the user. These are the event logs that reflect the actual transactions underlying the execution of the process. SimXpert takes these event logs and it uses automated process discovery using statistical analysis and algorithms in order to produce a real visualization of the actual process. This shows the steps or activities, the number of cases going through each step. Based on looking at this process visualization, the user is then provided with the capability of being able to iteratively apply changes to the process in order to discover the effect. To answer questions such as what happens if I add a new step, take away a step, reroute a process, add more resources, and so on. Each time the process visualization is then available to review in its new state. Let's go through SimXpert step by step. The first step is the front page of the demonstrator where we start. From there we click to import data. The import data screen allows the user to upload the set of events file from their own local drive or some source. Once the data log has been imported, SimXpert performs a number of validations on the data. Any errors in the data will be highlighted at this point. Once SimXpert is satisfied that the data is valid in order to support a process definition, it then visualizes the process on the main dashboard as shown in step 4. At step 4, the actual process built from the event logs is available to be seen, showing the steps, the order of the steps, the number of cases going through each step or activity. There are also a number of key statistics shown above the process. From here, the user can click into a set of process analysis visualizations or charts. A sample one is shown in step 5. This shows the step of actual paths through the system. The spread of the cases across the paths is also shown. From there, the user is able to move into editing and simulation mode. This allows the user to be able to change the process that's shown in the process visualization in order to start checking out the effect of particular changes, such as adding a process step, deleting a process step, adding a resource, changing a bottleneck definition. An example of this is shown in step 7. This shows the effect of changing the threshold at which a bottleneck is defined. By doing this and playing around with the threshold analysis, the user can see the effect of changing the bottleneck definition to see where the delays are in the system. A sample dataset that's available with SimXpert is from a hospital emergency room. This is a set of event logs that are shown, tracking the events associated with individual patients arriving in an emergency department of a hospital and being processed through the department. In the dataset, as shown, this shows the data for one patient, or related to one patient, where the object ID, the anonymous object ID of the patient, is 1. The various activities or steps are shown in the second column, starting with registration, moving through triage and assessment, and so on. The start and stop point for each of the steps is also shown. By looking at this dataset and examining the visualizations, users of SimXpert will be able to test out the functionality. This ends the walkthrough of SimXpert. Please do contact us for any further details.